On any given day, you can find a story in the media about famine, conflict, or despair in Africa. 400,000 people living in the largest refugee camp in the world in Kenya. The UN declaring for the first time in 50 years an official famine in Somalia. Rebel groups preventing aid from reaching communities that need it the most. These stories can be overwhelming for people like us because it seems impossible for us to do anything about it. We glaze over the reports, move on to something that we feel we have a little more control over, and frankly, that we may be a little more interested in. The stories don't motivate us to be involved or to expect that anything will ever be different. I believe in the power of the collective psyche. For change to occur, we need to believe that it will. For this to happen, we need to begin to hear more stories about success and less about failure. I'd like to share one of those stories with you. In Ethiopia, 83% of the population live in rural communities. 81% live below the poverty line of $2 a day. 41% live on less than 50 cents a day. And there is continual chronic food insecurity due to the shortage of rainfall, particularly in the last year. About 400 miles south of the capital, Addis Ababa, there are two communities, Konso and Darashi. These two villages have experienced significant conflict. They share a border. There are very limited resources, particularly water, cultivatable land, and grazing rights. In 2009, however, there was a collective community project that they embarked upon together called PROSPER. PROSPER stands for Promoting Sustainable Partnerships for Economic Recovery. PROSPER is an integrated, community-led program that includes local leadership, existing government structure, and women. Through the program, a natural spring was capped between the two communities that then provided access to drinkable water within easy access of homes for the first time in decades for over 20,000 people. This reduced conflict between the two communities. It reduced the amount of waterborne disease. It reduced the amount of time that women had to travel to get water each day, and therefore allowed girls to attend school, for women to start income-generating activities, and form savings and credit cooperatives. It increased household incomes, in some cases up to 50%. Over 23,000 households experienced sustainable positive change as a result of this program. Over 23,000 households are healthier. 750 women, their children, their families, their communities, are reaping the benefits of improved business skills, sustainable income earning activities, and access to credit. The community-led program was so successful that the model has been transferred to the Central African Republic, and it has the potential to be utilized throughout the continent of Africa. When I've shared the details of this story with others, I've seen a sense of relief on their faces. Perhaps it's because it's finally a story of success and not of failure. Perhaps it reinforces an innate sense of hope, and not the sense that all is lost for millions across the world. The organization I work for focuses on people and places that we call the toughest in the world. So the stories that I read every day in the news before I go to work are often reinforced by the stories I see in my email when I get to work. I subscribe to an email newsletter called The Daily Good. It reports one good thing a day. A story, an idea, an event, an innovation. It's the first email I read each morning. Although I do hear stories through my work of incredible survival and triumph that, like Konso and Darashi, that aren't often reported in the news, every day I look for communities and individuals moving forward and their stories. This is because what I want to believe is that moving forward is possible for all the countries we read about in the news each day. This is the hope and the expectation I want to share with my friends, my family, and my colleagues. I believe that what we expect from each other and our political leaders has power. If you believe in failure, you'll see stories in the media and everywhere to confirm that this is the only possible outcome. Likewise, if you believe that poverty can be turned into prosperity, conflict into peace, you will also find stories to confirm that this is possible. You will begin to expect, in fact insist, that our interaction with each other, our elected leaders, and nations in need support the outcomes we desire. You will believe that transformational change can occur, and it will.